Hey, how's everybody doing today? I want to make this recording and I want to mention something because it's an all too common theme. And as much as it is a shame and I pity these people, um, I also I can't coddle these people when they present themselves to me. And what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to is if you look in the last several uh, recorded postings or recordings posted to this channel, you'll see on one of the most recent ones, there's only one video that has a comment on it, and the comment was made by someone at the YouTube channel. I think it's called Philip Quillen. I don't know if that's the individual's name or just a stage name, so to speak. But anyways, you can read the comment there, and you can read my response. And typically, when I see these kind of comments, I will just delete them and block the channel. Simply because it's these types of people that they'll never grow up. Or let me rephrase that because I don't want to say never because who knows? I mean, there's always a possibility, but I don't feel that they will learn anything by watching my videos or paying attention to my recordings because they're so immature, because they're so afraid of the truth and reality that they have to lash out. They're triggered and they lash out in their triggered response uh, towards me, calling me names and uh, just acting immature. And they can't bring any information that actually controverts what I'm saying or what I'm presenting. It's just, they just lash out from their opinion and they tell me I'm wrong because they think so. They don't have any proof or evidence to prove or controvert what I'm saying. It's just their opinion. But when I see these types of comments, these Philip Quillens, excuse me, it kind of makes me laugh at times, but then at other times it really makes me pity these people because I realize that no one ever loved them enough to teach them how to grow up, um, or no one ever loved them enough to put them in a situation to force them to grow up. You know, I always picture that scene of what's his name? Uh, oh dang it, the Duke, John Wayne. There's a scene in one of his movies where he I think he's teaching a kid to swim or something like that, and they're standing by a bank of a pond or a river or something, and he just picks the kid up and throws him in the river or throws him in the water, and that's how he, I guess, teach him how to swim in that storyline. He just picks him up and chucks him in the water. Figure it out for yourself. You know, as dangerous as that might be, it forced that kid to learn how to swim. I myself, that's how I learned how to swim, by getting thrown into the water. Not necessarily in that manner. I didn't have a man pick me up and just throw me into the water. No, I think I threw myself into the water, if I remember back that far. And I had to learn how to get myself out of the situation. I had to learn how to swim, kick my legs, cup my hands, paddle, do the doggy paddle. You know, I had to learn these things to protect myself, to be able to operate in the water without the fear of drowning. Because even though that's a possibility, I mean, anybody can drown at any given point in time. You know, shit happens. But if I know how to swim, if I know how to hold my breath and go underwater, if I know how to operate in the water without panicking, then I'll be just fine. I'll figure it out. But it's those that were never forced or taught or given the opportunity to learn as a child, and now in their adulthood, when they're presented with the obstacle, something that they should have learned as a child, it's impossible for them now as an adult to overcome it. And even something as simple as an idea or a concept, it doesn't have to be a physical hurdle. It can be a mental hurdle. And when these people are presented with situations and scenarios that force them to adapt, that force them to be creative and come up with solutions to fix the problem, they're used to being coddled. They're used to being coddled, and whatever they say goes because mommy and daddy doesn't want to upset them. And then mommy and daddy takes care of everything, and the immature little kid doesn't know anything, doesn't know any better. They're not forced to see reality. They're not forced to grow up in that moment and realize that they're just acting like a little brat, or they're acting like a little kid. And it's that kind of enabling treatment, I guess, that causes people in their adulthood to act like this, to lash out and say a bunch of nonsensical things to people that they don't even know because they're afraid. And that's what Philip Quillen did. That's what most of these people do. In fact, a majority of the comments that I've gone through, I mean, that's in a nutshell, that's pretty much all of them summed up. They're just people afraid of reality. They were never forced to deal with reality, and it's easier for them to say, I don't know what I'm talking about, and call me names, and leave some ridiculous comment, rather than not saying anything at all and just paying attention and learning from the information that I'm presenting. Because let me put it this way. The topic of the recording of the posting that was commented on was the county recorder. And the situation is that the county recorder refused to do her job. She didn't know how to do her job. She made excuses as to why she was refusing to do her job, as to excuse her malfeasance and dereliction away. And then used a male prosecutor, to further excuse her incompetence because she couldn't tell me herself what the answer was. She had to tell me that so-and-so said it. Well, so-and-so said it, so it must be true. And when I asked her, did you read that particular information yourself? She couldn't answer that question because she didn't read it. What was her answer? I'm aware of it. Wow, that's a real, what's the word? Forked tongue kind of an answer. I'm aware of it. So in other words, what she's saying is, no, I didn't read it. I know it exists, but I have no idea what it says. And so I'm assuming that someone else is telling me the truth. And therefore, I'm going to tell you that they're telling me the truth, even though she has no idea what the truth is. See how that works? But with that being said, honestly, okay, let's break it down here. Let's say that she is doing her job, and she is well within her right to refuse to record my instrument. Indeed. Now, if that's the case, then eventually I will realize that I'm wrong. Because I'll come across information that will uh, prove to me, that will be evidence in me that I need to change my approach. The problem is that when I read the Ohio Revised Code that she used as an excuse and gave to me, that, it's technically hearsay because someone else gave to her that she gave to me. She didn't read it herself. See, okay, so let me back up a little bit. If she was doing her job and I was wrong, what difference does it make? Big deal. I made a mistake. At least I'm learning. At least I'm attempting to learn. At least I'm attempting to gather information so I can make a decision on my own about the situation. But let's say the flip side of the coin. Let's say that she's wrong. Let's say that I'm right, which I know I'm right, but just for the sake of the conversation, let's just say hypothetically, for your perspective, that I'm right and that she's wrong in what she did, and the county recorder actually broke the law. Now, if I'm right, that would force Philip Quillen and these other people to change their perspectives of reality, because reality isn't what they thought it was. Because they thought that these public servants always do the right thing, so therefore they don't ever have to think about it or consider that these public servants are corrupt. But as soon as I start exposing the corruption and making them aware of it, instead of saying, oh wow, yeah, we have a problem here we need to pay attention to and figure out how to fix. Instead of being mature and saying that, they say, oh no, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, you're a soft sit, all this nonsense. Like, they don't make a comment saying, oh, well, in actuality, in Ohio Revised Code, such and such and such, and section such and such and such, it says this, which actually confirms what the public servant said. No, they don't bring information like that. They don't bring an argument like that. No, because that would be too productive. What they do is they lash out and they act triggered, calling names, tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Just general insults. And you can tell that they never even read the information. They never read the Ohio Revised Code. Apparently, this Philip Quillen didn't read along with me when I read Ohio Revised Code, the particular one. I think it was 317.08, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So apparently, they can't read, these Philip Quillens and people of the like. Apparently, they can't read. They can't comprehend, if they are able to read, what they're actually reading. And it really is a shame. But it shows how triggered they are when they feel the need to tell me I'm wrong, when they have no idea themselves. In reality, they're just afraid. They're afraid of the prospect that I could be right and that they've believed a lie, and they don't want to accept that. And so it's easier for them to lash out at me, be triggered, and call me names and all that kind of stuff. Now, do I call names back? Yeah, sometimes. Do I call people idiots and morons and bigots and other things? Yeah, sure. Do I want them to be that? No. It's the only way I can characterize their activities, their actions. Hopefully to shine a light on it, so that way they see what they're doing and change their ways. Hopefully. It's not always the case, because some people are okay with what they do, even though it hurts other people. Look at the police department. But that's another topic. I'm not going to get on that tangent. The point of the matter is, the point of this recording is that I used to delete and block these types of commenters. And I still may at some point. But I'm willing to have the conversation to see if it's even worthwhile to challenge these people. I mean, deep down in my gut, I don't think it is. Because I think at this point, if these people haven't matured enough to see the light and to be able to process it and accept it, then they're probably not going to. And they will probably leave this existence never having realized the truth. And so I need to realize that. I need to come to terms with that. And that's partly why I was deleting the comments and blocking the people, because honestly, what's the point in entertaining that? It's only going to bog me down, drag me down, and cause me not to be able to make as much progress as I should. But is it going to be a worthwhile investment to invest the time into these people to provide information in the hopes that they will see it and process it and grow up? But that doesn't always happen. In fact, it rarely happens, especially in the comment section on YouTube. And so I don't expect a whole lot from these people. I don't expect them to, well, I mean, obviously, if they're reviewing the material that I'm posting on YouTube and they're getting triggered and putting up ridiculous comments, there really is no chance of having a constructive conversation with these people and winning them over so that way they might see the truth. Because they're already set in their ways. They've already determined how they want to see it. All I can do is present the information. All I can do is lead the horse to the water. I can't force it to drink. And as I stated before, I'm at the point in my life, and have been for some time now, that when I do my part and I lead the horse to the water, if the horse chooses not to drink the water, and the horse dies of thirst, I don't feel guilty. I don't feel bad. In fact, I pity that horse. I pity that animal. Because they were given every opportunity to drink water. That's all they had to do, is just drink water. It's not that difficult. It's part of life. It's part of living, replenishing the body with the necessary nutrients and minerals and so forth. Substances. Water is one of the things that our bodies need. It's one of the things that our body needs to survive. So if someone is too dumb or retarded or uneducated or immature to realize that they need to drink water to stay alive, and maybe that's a better place for them. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But how's the saying go? We make you made your bed, now you're gonna lay in it, or something like that. So these people have made their bed. They have forced themselves into a corner and sheltered themselves from reality. And when they get to a point in their life that they are forced to realize the truth, they can't hide from it any longer. Well, that's usually when you have people that, are having psychotic breakdowns and uh, psychological disorders, extreme psychological disorders, where they just snap and lose all sense of reality, because it's overwhelming to them. It's like being in a dark room for a couple of hours and then stepping out of the door into a room full of light and trying to open your eyes and look at the light. It's painful. And so many of these people, because they're not mature, they throw a temper tantrum like a child. And that's what's known as a psychotic episode. It's just a child throwing a temper tantrum. Because they were never forced to grow up. They were never loved enough to be mature, or to be expected to be mature. They were coddled. They were given participation trophies. They were told, great job, even when they did a bad job. Sometimes, actually, no, let me back up. Damn near all of the time, when people do a bad job, they need to be told they did a bad job, so that way they can learn from it. If they do a bad job and they were told that they did a good job, they will continue to do a bad job and think that they're doing a good job their entire life. And it's this type of idiotic thinking that has us in the situation that we're in today, not just in our country, but across the world. I mean, look around. We have social media now that we can talk to people on the other side of the world and get current information about what's going on in their lives on the other side of the world. So it's no mystery anymore. It's not really a guess, because we can find the evidence. We can find the proof of it. All of the information is at our fingertips. The truth is at our fingertips, but it's up to us, each individually, each of us, to reach out and take the information, pull it in and process it and chew on it and ponder it and learn how to apply it in the moment, because that's wisdom. So I encourage you all to know the truth and let the truth set you free. And with that being said, I'm going to be praying for Philip Quillen, whomever this thing is. If it's even a human, it could be a robot for all I know. It could be an algorithm, an AI. That would make even more sense. But I'm just being comical. I'm going to pray for Philip Quillen, and I hope you do too. And pray for all those out there that are blind, that need the truth, that need to see the truth. Pray that Philip Quillen and people like him are able to open their eyes and process the information and not be afraid. Because there really is nothing to be afraid of. It's freedom, really. Knowing the truth is very liberating and freeing. Hiding in ignorance is extremely what's the word? Arresting, debilitating. It's like a governor. It holds people back. So that's why I say, know the truth and let the truth set you free. Because it's your responsibility to do so, not anyone else's responsibility for you. So think about these things that I talked about. And please pray for Philip Quillen. Pray that his eyes of understanding are opened. And that our Creator will grant him the ability to process the information and not be afraid. And to learn how to apply it to his everyday life in the moment and gain wisdom.